You want to improve your life. You want more focus, better energy, better health. But there is one obstacle. Silent, chemical, and relentless. That could be stopping you before you even start. It is not laziness. It is not a lack of discipline. It is cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. Cortisol has been misunderstood. It is not just a bad stress hormone. In fact, it is essential for survival. It wakes you up, fuels your brain, helps you respond to challenges. But when cortisol becomes chronically elevated, or when it spikes at the wrong times, it becomes toxic to your growth. It damages your focus, your immune system, your hormones, and your sleep. Worst of all, you will not even feel it happening until your life starts to stall. So, in this video, we are going to explore the true role of cortisol in self-improvement, how it works, when it helps, and when it harms. You will learn how to balance your cortisol daily using neuroscience-backed tools that are simple, free, and profoundly effective. Why is it that some people can stay focused and motivated, while others burn out after a few days? Why do some individuals recover from setbacks faster, while others spiral into exhaustion? And what if the real reason you are not improving is because your nervous system is chemically overwhelmed? Stick with this video. This could be the most important speech you hear this year. Reflective questioning: if your brain and body are not calm, can you really expect to grow? Let us begin by clearing up a common myth: cortisol is not your enemy. It is not something you want to eliminate. In fact, without it, you would not be able to survive a single day. Cortisol is released by your adrenal glands in response to a signal from the brain. The hypothalamus and pituitary gland, which form the HPA axis. This system is tightly linked to your circadian rhythm, the 24-hour cycle that governs your sleep, focus, metabolism, and recovery. Here is how it works, In the morning, your brain triggers a healthy spike in cortisol. This is called the cortisol awakening response. It is what helps you feel alert, clear-headed, and energized. During the day, cortisol should gradually decline, helping you stay focused without being overstimulated. At night, cortisol should be low, allowing melatonin to rise and sleep to occur. But here is the issue: most people are living completely out of sync with this natural rhythm. Their cortisol is too low in the morning, leading to grogginess. Then, due to work stress, artificial light, caffeine, and emotional overload, cortisol spikes at night, causing insomnia, anxiety, and burnout. This is not a motivation problem. It is a biochemical misalignment. Ask yourself, are you waking up tired, then struggling to fall asleep at night? That is a cortisol rhythm problem, not a character flaw. When cortisol is chronically misaligned, either too high, too low, or rising at the wrong times, your body enters a kind of biological friction. You feel like you are pushing against life instead of flowing with it. The symptoms are everywhere, and they are often misdiagnosed brain fog, especially in the morning, poor recovery after workouts, difficulty focusing, even with strong motivation, mood swings, irritability, and emotional reactivity, trouble falling or staying asleep, immune issues, frequent illness, or inflammation cortisol is catabolic, meaning it breaks things down. It is designed to help you deal with a short-term threat, like running from danger. But when that same hormone is activated all day long, because of emails, deadlines, doom scrolling, or social anxiety, it starts to break you down. Your muscles do not grow. Your skin breaks out. Your gut becomes inflamed. Your dopamine system becomes erratic. This is why so many people feel stuck in their self-improvement. They are trying to add new habits on top of a dysregulated nervous system. If your baseline neurochemistry is unstable, your brain is not in a state to learn, grow, or perform. It is just trying to survive. Challenge and reflect on your week. How often did you feel energized and focused without needing caffeine or pressure? That is your baseline cortisol telling the truth. There is a 30-minute window every morning that has the power to change your entire hormonal trajectory for the day. It is called the cortisol awakening response, and neuroscience shows that this is the most effective time to influence your alertness, focus, and stress resilience. When you first open your eyes, your brain prepares to release a surge of cortisol. If this surge is strong and on time, it sets your entire system in motion. You feel motivated, driven, and calm. But if you miss this window, by staying in bed, checking your phone, or staying in the dark, you blunt that spike. Your brain stays sluggish, and your body overcompensates later in the day with erratic cortisol surges. So how do you enhance the morning cortisol rhythm? 1. Get natural light in your eyes within 30 minutes of waking, even on cloudy days. Light through windows is 50, 100 times weaker than outdoor light. 2. Move your body, even lightly. Walking, stretching, or 23 minutes of push-ups or jumping jacks will trigger norepinephrine and reinforce the cortisol pulse. 3. Delay caffeine for 60, 190 minutes. This allows your natural cortisol to rise on its own instead of masking it. These 3 habits, done consistently, can shift your entire cortisol rhythm within a week. Question: what is the first thing you do when you wake up? Does it amplify or suppress your body's ability to wake up on its own? Have you ever felt completely alert in the morning, only to crash hard by early afternoon? This is not just about lunch or sleep debt. It is often due to a cortisol dopamine feedback loop. Here is the simplified science. Why cortisol and dopamine are linked. When cortisol rises naturally, dopamine also rises, giving you motivation and drive. But if cortisol rises artificially from caffeine, scrolling, or stress, you get a dopamine surge without a foundation. And what goes up must come down. By 1 or 2 p.m., you crash. Your brain becomes resistant to stimulation. You reach for sugar, more coffee, or social media, and that creates another cortisol spike, pushing you further out of rhythm. The fix: stabilize your cortisol before the afternoon begins. Some strategies. Well, eat a protein-rich breakfast. This balances blood sugar and delays cortisol dips. Get a second bout of sunlight between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. This anchors your rhythm and boosts alertness without stimulants. Take a 10-20 minute NSDRs, non-sleep deep rest session post-lunch. This resets your nervous system, lowers cortisol, and increases dopamine receptor sensitivity. Small shifts like these are not hacks. They are powerful, biologically aligned interventions to reduce the midday crash and enhance sustained improvement. Reflection: what habits are you relying on during the afternoon that may be compensating for poor cortisol alignment? If you want to improve your performance, mood, or mental clarity, there is one non-negotiable foundation: deep, restorative sleep. And the number one hormone that disrupts it: cortisol. At night, your cortisol should be low. This allows melatonin to rise, muscles to repair, and neurons to reset. But in today's world, most people carry the day's stress into their nights. Their brains never shift gears. Here is how you sabotage sleep, and how to fix it: exposure to blue light after 8 p.m. and screens, phones, and LEDs suppress melatonin and keep cortisol elevated. Fix: use warm lighting and stop screen use 90 minutes before bed. A late night anxiety spirals, racing thoughts trigger a cortisol surge. Fix: try a download protocol. Write your thoughts down before bed to offload the mind. Late night eating or alcohol both disrupt blood sugar and increase nighttime cortisol. Fix: finish your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bed. Avoid alcohol if sleep quality is your priority. You can also use physiological sighs: 2 inhales through the nose, 1 slow exhale through the mouth, to calm your nervous system quickly and lower cortisol naturally. Ask yourself, what part of your evening routine is keeping your brain in day mode? What would it look like to design your cortisol to decline? Beyond the biology, cortisol also plays a profound role in how you experience life. High cortisol is not just physical. It shifts your perception of stress. When cortisol is elevated, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes overactive. You see more problems. You interpret neutral events as threats. You ruminate, overthink, and anticipate failure. In this state, your executive functions, planning, decision-making, goal-setting, are impaired. You become reactive rather than proactive. But here is the breakthrough: when you regulate cortisol, your psychological sense of agency returns. You feel in control again. You respond instead of react. You regain confidence. Simple daily habits, like grounding in the present moment, using breath to shift states, or controlling your morning routine, send a message to the brain: I am safe. I am in charge. Over time, this lowers baseline cortisol, increases vagal tone, and supports long-term self-improvement. Motivational insight: if you want to change your life, do not just change your habits, change your state. And that begins with chemistry, especially cortisol. To bring it all together, here are the 7 most powerful evidence-backed tools to balance cortisol and unlock your full potential. 1. Sunlight within 30 minutes of waking sets your circadian rhythm and jumpstarts cortisol properly. 2. Daily movement exercise, even 20 to 30 minutes, lowers chronic cortisol and increases resilience. 3. NSDR or meditation 120 minutes daily recalibrates the nervous system and enhances learning and recovery. 4. No caffeine before 90 minutes post-waking protects natural cortisol rhythm and reduces afternoon crashes. 5. Evening wind, down ritual dimming lights, Reducing stimulation and using breathwork sends cortisol downward. 6. High protein, low sugar diet, low stable blood sugar, stable cortisol. 7. Emotional state journaling, writing down thoughts, reduces psychological stress, reframes negative loops, and anchors a sense of control. None of these tools are difficult, but they require consistency. Cortisol balance is not a one-time fix. It is a daily rhythm, one that reflects the rhythm of life itself. Cortisol is not just a stress hormone. It is the conductor of your internal symphony. And like any great conductor, it must rise and fall at the right times to create harmony. If your life feels dissonant, if you feel tired, stuck, anxious, or reactive, it is likely your cortisol is out of tune. But the solution is not outside you. It is already inside your biology, waiting for rhythm, structure, and respect. So I will ask you, what is one cortisol aligned change you can start today? Something simple, doable, and powerful. Write it in the comments. Join the conversation. Let others know they are not alone. If this video gave you clarity or value, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps us grow this mission to help millions take charge of their biology and rewire their future.